Hey y'all, it's me, Kimberly Clark, and welcome to this, my in-depth review on the LunatiCK Cosmetic Labs Contour Palette Volume 2. Welcome to my review! About a year ago, maybe a little more, I did a full in-depth review of the LunatiCK Cosmetic Labs Contour Palette Volume 1. Now, this, I still think, is a game-changing, industry-changing contour palette. This is a product made by LunatiCK Cosmetic Labs. They are an indie, cruelty-free makeup brand, and I just think they are so fabulous. I got to meet Cassie from LunatiCK Cosmetic Labs at IMATS last year in New York City. You can check out my IMATS vlog video to see more footage of that. Now this, the original contour palette, you can see mine's pretty well loved. But the reason I say this is a revolutionary game changer is because it is a cool contour palette. Now, a lot of companies have come out with contour shades that are a lot cooler since the release of palettes like this, frankly. But the thing that I think is so unique about this palette is that the shades are very cool toned, which makes them perfect for doing a kind of realistic contour. Now when I say contour, I mean contour in the kind of theatrical, traditional sense of the word, which means creating an illusion of a shadow, a realistic shadow on your face. For that reason, you want to use cool colors instead of warm colors to do that with. If you use warm colors, you'll get a beautiful bronze glow, but you won't necessarily define any specific kind of angles and contours on your face. The beauty of this palette is that it comes with a row of cool shades, a row of rosy blush shades, and a row of warm shades. So the way to use this is you use the cool shades to contour, carve out your cheeks, carve out whatever you're shaping, and then warm it up with the blushes and the warm shades. This was a very popular item, and I raved about it on my channel. I've got a full review video, please check it out. But there was some concern that some of these shades were a little too light and not pigmented enough to work on deeper skin tones. Now, I really think that a lot of these shades could work on many different skin tones because of the way that they build and blend. But if you really want some intense pigmentation, these really aren't there for you. Luckily, LunatiCK is a company that listens to their customers and created a version of this palette that is a little bit more pigmented that would work perfectly on deeper skin tones. And lo and behold, the LunatiCK Cosmetic Labs Contour Palette Volume 2 was born. Check out this baby. Bam! Basically, you've got the same kind of setup, a row of cool shades, a row of blush shades in the center, and a row of warm, bronzy shades. These are fabulous. In comparison to the Volume 1, I can say that the quality of these powders is exactly the same. These do pack a bit more pigment, quite a bit more if I might say, but they are still very easy to blend out. Each of the pans are removable, so you can arrange them in any order that you want, and LunatiCK will eventually be releasing all of these shades in single forms. So if you don't want to invest the $74 in the full palette, you can get the individual shades that you might use. Before we go any further, let me jump into swatches of all of these shades, explaining what we actually have in this palette. I'm also going to show you some comparison swatches of the Volume 1 palette. So here is the outer packaging for the LunatiCK Cosmetic Labs Contour Palette Volume 2, beautiful sturdy cardboard with a mirror inside. And here are the 12 matte shades that you will be getting with this palette. Now, you may notice that when you look at the website to buy them individually, you'll notice that the Volume 2 shades have a 0.0 after the shade number. So the lightest shade is 1.0 instead of 1 from the original Volume 1 palette. And this is how those numbers correspond to the layout of the palette. You'll notice that they are numbered in rows, but I will be swatching in columns. So the numbers are going to be quite out of order, but I feel like this makes more sense in terms of colorways. We'll start off with our first column of cool shades. Now, you will notice that right off the bat, these shades seem a little bit more pigmented than your typical face powder, whether that's MAC or Kat Von D or something. And they are also extremely easy to blend out. You can kind of see in the bottoms of my swatches how easy these are to diffuse. So they look a little intimidating, but girl, they are workable. Here are these fabulous cool-toned blush shades. I think these are amazing. Look at this beautiful third shade. It's absolutely stunning. It's kind of berry with a little bit of warmth in it. Beautiful buildability, beautiful pigmentation. And then finally, Dark Rose, number 11. This is by far the most pigmented shade in the palette. Use it with a very light hand if you want a more natural blush application, or go hard. Even use it as an eyeshadow. It would be fabulous for that. Deep Cream is just a beautiful deep banana shade. It's like one of the most kind of softer, deeper banana powder shades I've seen. Really stunning. And then these fabulous warm shades are just absolutely fabulous bronzers. Just really great to kind of add a little bit of sun-kissed glow back into your face. Gorge. And then here are the two contour palettes side by side, volume 1 and volume 2. And then here they are swatched out fully on my skin. Now you can see definitely the pigmentation is more intense with the volume 2 palette, and generally the shades are quite a bit deeper. But as you can kind of see, the quality, the pigmentation, the kind of overall finish of all of these powders is comparable. Now if you're watching this video and you have a medium to deeper skin tone, I can flat out recommend this palette for you. This is fabulous. The shades are beautiful, buttery, pigmented, very blendable, very nice. I mean, come on. Is that enough pigmentation for you? But look how easily this blends out. Like, I just love this. It just is very easy to create a realistic looking shadow with these shades, which is the purpose of this palette, which I think a lot of contour palettes, as I said in my last video, they kind of have lost that. You know, they're more like bronzer palettes, but this is a true contour palette in the sense that you have very cool shades that you can really use to create a realistic shadow. Also, if you've used this palette before and the colors are not pigmented enough or not cool enough for you, I would suggest checking out this palette because these colors are generally a bit cooler, except for these warm ones on this side. Like, even the blushes are a little bit cooler. And these shades are just so much deeper and more pigmented. They really give you that beautiful, cool shadow effect. Now, you might be wondering, well, if I'm not a deep or medium skin tone, will this palette work for me? What's the point of buying this palette? And I would say it totally can work for you under some specific circumstances. If you have a light skin tone, like me, I'm very fair, I'm full-on Casper situation, you can totally use this palette if you're interested in a quick, fast contour that is very dramatic. I'm going to show you some footage here of me applying this palette on my face today in this look, and as you can see, it is so fast. I use this shade and this shade down here to create my face structure, and as you can see, I didn't need a lot of product, and it really blended out and created this very natural shadow very quickly. If you're into drag, if you're into very dramatic looks, and you have a fair to light skin tone, this could totally work for you. And in fact, it might actually speed up your getting ready routine because of how pigmented it is. That said, if you're not used to working with very pigmented face powders, I would be very careful with using these because it's very easy if you're used to getting a lot of product on your brush and slamming it on your face, and then you go into these and they're very, very pigmented. You might get into a little Anastasia Beverly Hills subculture situation if you're not careful, just because of the pigmentation. Now, these are not soft shadows like the Subculture palette. I do not mean to imply that, but if you use a heavy hand with these powders, you're going to get a very heavy, full coverage powder. What's also amazing about these powders is the range of blushes. I've always said that if LunatiCK Cosmetic Labs marketed their blushes on their own, it would be amazing. They would do so well because the formula is so fabulous. Today I'm wearing this shade right here as a blush on my cheeks, and as you can see, I applied it very, very lightly. It just, you know, you can go really intense with these if you want, build up a lot of pigment, but if you want to go really light, you also can. It's possible. But again, you're going to have to really be careful with the application in order to do that. As you can see, as I applied this blush, it was pretty easy. I mean, I went in very lightly, I tapped off my brush, I was very careful, very cautious. And I think it's fabulous if you are willing to use that technique when applying this, if you have a fair to light skin tone. Let's talk about the price, because that is a huge thing that inhibits a lot of people from buying these. So the LCL Contour Palette Volume 2 is $74. You get 12 shades with a total of 1.7 ounces of product. That makes it $44 an ounce. The NYX Highlight and Contour Pro Palette is $25. You get 8 shades, and it's 0.72 ounces. and that rounds out to $34 an ounce. So it's a little bit more expensive per ounce than the NYX Highlight and Contour Pro palette. And by high-end comparison, the Viseart Highlight Sculpting Palette is $80. You get 6 shades, and it's 0.84 ounces of product to make it $95 an ounce. Now, this means you get about half as much product as in the LunatiCK Cosmetic Labs palette, but it's twice as expensive. And again, 1.7 ounces is a ton of product, so you're really getting a lot of contour shades that will last you for a while. And here is my Stephanie Nicole-esque price comparison. Now these are sorted by price per ounce, so you can see the LunatiCK Cosmetic Labs Contour Palette Volume 2, as well as the Volume 1. They're both the same price, same amount of product. They lie right in the middle of that chart. As you can also see, you get way more shades, way more product than any of the other contour palettes that are on the market. I really think it's a great value. So all that said, the price per ounce of these is pretty good. But do you need this full palette? If you are interested in experimenting with lots of different makeup looks, lots of different shades, lots of different tones, lots of different intensities of different looks, either one of these palettes I think is a great investment. If you are interested in doing a very minimal, very simple, easy contour, I don't know if I would recommend getting the full palettes. I would recommend finding a shade based on swatch videos like mine, or based on other videos, and ordering that individually. But if you're a makeup artist, girl, I think these are kind of must-haves. I don't know of another contour palette that has this many cool shades, which really gives you the ability to really carve the perfect type of shadow out of whatever face you're working on and whatever skin tone you're working with. Another selling point of these, another reason I would suggest buying these, is if you love self-customization. If you want to have a collection of fabulous face powders for about $128, which is what the total price of both of these is, girl, you're set. Look at this. To buy this many face powders from MAC or from Makeup Forever, gonna set you back a lot more than that. So if you're actually interested in having a huge variety of face powders that are really versatile and really unique, I think this is a great buy. So you know me, I'm the queen of stop shopping. I'm not gonna recommend something to you if you don't need it. So let me just review this one more time. The pros and cons of this palette. Pros: phenomenally pigmented, deep, cool contour shades, perfect for deep to medium skin tones, unlike any other palette out there. Perfect for light to fair skin tones if you're interested in doing a quick or very dramatic type contour look. Cons of this palette are, if you're not interested in using a lot of different shades for your makeup looks, or you just notice that you really always gravitate to one shade, I wouldn't waste your money on buying this many shades, no matter how much they cost. It's a little pricey, $74 for all of this. Now again, it's a great value, but if you're not gonna use a lot of these shades, then I would skip it. So in conclusion, like, this is, I don't know, I just love everything that LunatiCK does. I think they're amazing. They're an indie brand. They're very receptive to feedback. When I received this palette, I noticed that the packaging is almost exactly the same. It's definitely the same in terms of quality. It's like beautiful cardboard with the beautiful printing. But I noticed that even though it's the same image, just kind of with the colorways changed, the green palette is a little bit more pixelated and isn't exactly lined up the same way as the original Volume 1 palette. Now, I'm a graphic designer. I've sent lots of different finalized PDFs to different publishers for printing and approval and stuff, and I know how difficult it is to get every single thing perfect and to make sure everything lines up. You know, so I totally sympathize with printing something that is slightly off. Like, this is a tiny little bit pixelated. Is this something that you would notice if you're maybe not a graphic designer and don't look out for things like that? No, probably not. But if you have both palettes and compare them, you can definitely see that the quality of the purple palette, the Volume 1, is just a bit sharper. Now here's why I love LunatiCK. I mentioned this to Cassie when I reached out to them about it, and they were like, oh my god, we're totally gonna fix that. Thank you so much for spotting that. I love that. I love that they're receptive to the comment, to the criticism, and that they're going to fix it. So if you're a stickler like me for design and stuff like that, know that future printings of the design of this palette will have that problem solved. So way to go, LunatiCK, for listening to your fans and receiving criticism like that in a beautiful way. I love that. I'm a huge fan of that. I want more people to do that, as you know. Full disclosure, LunatiCK did send this palette to me. I gave a glowing review of their first palette, which I purchased with my own money, and I was not paid to do this video. There was no requirement that I love this palette or anything. I just happen to love it. I gotta say, for travel, I've traveled with this a lot. It's done really well. It's secure. Nothing's ever exploded or broken or anything. None of these pans pop out when you shake them. The magnets are very sturdy. Oh, look at my kimono arms just totally flapping. My chicken flapper just flapping there. The realness! So they're totally sturdy. I would totally recommend traveling with them. LunatiCK killed it with Volume 1. They killed it again with Volume 2. So thank you so much, LunatiCK, for sending me this palette. Just absolutely fabulous. I love it. I think it's great. I think it's going to be a huge win. Now, if you are someone with a deeper skin tone, I would love to hear what you think about this palette. I feel like, you know, people talk about other people all the time, and a lot of times without really having a full awareness or understanding of their experience, as you know from watching my videos. But I'm a professional drag queen. I have a pretty good grip on color theory and makeup, and I really do think that this would be a fabulous, fabulous product for someone with a deeper skin tone. But that's just me, that's just my opinion, it's just my thoughts. If you are someone with a medium to deep skin tone and you've tried this product, I would love to hear what you think of it in the comments down below. As a little bonus, I just want to mention that LunatiCK also redid their lipstick formula. I have loved their lipstick formulas, thought they've always kind of been really super smooth and great, but they didn't last very long. Not on the lips, I mean, but like actually as a product. I've noticed that my old lipstick formulas have gotten kind of dry and like a little crusty, a little waxier. They've actually reformulated them, taken some of the wax out of the formula and made it a little bit slicker and smoother. Today I'm wearing the shade RPG on my lips over the ColourPop lip liner in the shade Brills, topped with a little bit of OCC's lip tar in the shade Lovecraft. I just think these lipsticks are fabulous. They're just beautiful. The packaging, the new packaging is this gold bullet, absolutely beautiful plastic, but still very sturdy and luxurious. It's plastic, so it's a little cheaper to manufacture, which means the price point of these is going to be a little bit lower than what you expect from luxury lipsticks, etc. They smell great. Ugh, like a little sweet kind of watermelon fruity scent, but nothing that lingers, of course. And they're just so comfortable. Now, I'm a liquid lipstick lover. I love the dried down matte lipsticks, but sometimes I just want the comfort of an old, traditional, lovely lipstick. These are them. Fabulous. I'm Kimberly Clark. Thank you so much for watching. This video was promised. A lot of people were asking about it, so I wanted to kind of just like, I'm actually running out the door to a gig. I wanted to just like kind of throw this together because I actually have used this palette a bunch now, and you know, my thoughts are based on that. They're not kind of first impressions, they're actual thoughts based on me using the product a lot, and as you know from watching this video, I love it. What can I say? Sometimes this old hateful queen loves makeup. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Give this video a thumbs up. Let me know what other products you want me to review, specifically any indie makeup brands that you want me to review. I'm really interested in supporting small businesses. I think it's really the most potent way we can combat capitalism on a personal level is by investing in smaller local businesses and not just giving all of our money to larger corporations or larger kind of umbrella companies that are not even based in the areas where their customers live, right? LunatiCK Cosmetic Labs, American-based company, love it, fabulous, and they're made in the USA. So go figure, support, shop local, indie, buy small, buy local, boom! Let's get more hype on that. Hype up the indie, yes! Keep YouTube weird. Can we, is that a new, can we make that? Keep YouTube weird. You heard it here. If you like these videos and you want to help me be able to continue to make more videos like this, please consider supporting me on Patreon. If you already support me on Patreon, you know that you are the reason why I'm continuing to make these videos. Thank you so much. I'm Kimberly Clark. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!